5, 4, 3. Hi, everybody. DUGROZ here with DUGROZ Reports, reporting live from my house. Welcome to my Saturday morning live stream. Today is Saturday, September 21st, 2024. How's everybody doing today? The reason why I'm starting slightly earlier than usual, although it ended up only being about 5 minutes earlier than usual, is because my son, who is on the local high school football team, is doing a service project this morning. As soon as that's done, I'm going to get him and his brother, and we're going to go to a college football game. The Iowa State Cyclones are playing the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Go Cyclones. So that's why I need to be a little earlier. So I need to keep this live stream shorter than usual. I need to be done by 10:35-ish. So right about an hour, just a touch over an hour, maybe an hour and 3 minutes, hour and 5 minutes is where we'll cut it off this morning. But thank you for joining in. I see Chad, I see Cesar Joel, mi hermano, Shaitan Patel, and Mojo. Shaitan says, I'm here for my weekly dose of DUGROZ. Great, I'm glad to hear it. Good morning, sir. All right, well, there's no point that I can see to dragging this out, so we might as well dive right on into the DUGROZ data points. These are any sort of data points or interesting thing that came up in the world of points and miles, cashback, etc. during the week. First data point, this is very specific, very targeted, but if you are a resident of Iowa or a few counties in Illinois right along the Mississippi River, you can get this bank account bonus from Cedar Rapids Bank and Trust, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Cozy up to double rewards. $100 refer a friend is back. $100 for me, $100 for you. It's a super easy bank account bonus. You don't have to have any direct deposit. I think you just have to do 15 debit card transactions of any amount in one calendar month, and then they'll give you the bonus the next month. Don't quote me on that. That's what I think it is. I don't have it in the description box yet, but if you are a resident of Iowa or you live near the Quad Cities in Illinois, shoot me a message. Just put a comment on any of my videos, and I'll get that to ya. Ian Mascal is on board, says, about to board at Boston, headed to New Orleans. Awesome. Hey, a bunch of us were just in New Orleans recently. But I think I remember you saying you were going to be heading there just a little later than the rest of us. In fact, are you the one that you lived in New Orleans for a period of your life, possibly? All right, keep going with the DUGROZ data points here. And then I also see TM Cowling on board, says, good morning. So sharing my screen here. Next data point, this is completely random, but do you ever leave Google reviews, like put pictures on Google and those kind of things? I do that sometimes, and I have attained a level 7 Google Maps guide, which gets me 5,000 points. Other than an interesting picture, I don't know what it gets me. I've been invited to like dinners and presentations and stuff in the past, but of course it's always you have to pay your own way, so it's never been particularly compelling. But if you have any stories with being a Google guide and what that gets you, let me know. I do feel strongly that in the points and miles community, we should be better than the average person at leaving reviews, whether it's Google reviews, Apple Maps, whatever your preferred review platform is. Help other people know, how was that attraction? How was that hotel? How was that rental car company? Leave the good, the bad, and the neutral, because that's the only way you get fairness. The next data point is just a reminder. We've got a week and 2 days till the end of the month, and the end of this month is the end of the quarter, third quarter. So if you are someone that has a Hilton Surpass or a Hilton Aspire card, am I saying that right? The fancy Hilton card is the Aspire? I think so. And you have not yet used your statement credit that is quarterly yet, remember, you can buy Hilton gift cards. It's buyhiltongiftcards.com, and that does trigger the credit. Now, bear in mind, I like how you can rotate through the designs, but there's still only 3. Before somebody says, but Doug, they aren't universally accepted. I'm aware of that, but it's a whole lot better than letting the credit go. Obviously, if you can go to a Hilton and eat in their restaurant or something, that would work too. But just remember that does expire in a week and 2 days. And don't wait until the last day, because it does take a couple days to do the billing. Speaking of Hilton, right now American Express has a elevated transfer bonus going on. Normally with Hilton points, you get a 1-to-2 ratio from Amex over to Hilton. Right now it's 1-to-2.6. Now I did see at least one data point online that said this is a targeted offer. So I can't say with certainty that's open to you, but it is open to me, and this is open through the end of the month. So again, you have a week and 2 days to do your transfer from Amex to Hilton if that's something that you're interested in. For all of you on board right now, if you would be kind enough to click the thumbs up button, I would appreciate it. We have 13 people on board, only 4 thumbs up, so there's 9 opportunities there to click that button. That boosts the algorithm, drives more people here to watch the video. So I would appreciate that. Also, if you're not currently a subscriber, if you'd subscribe, that would be great. Consider becoming a member, a DUGROZ Diehard. Oh, shoot, I was going to show my last members only video. Maybe I still can, and I'll come back to that. $3 a month, cancel anytime. But anyhow, as it relates to those Hilton transfer points, I did in my wife's account transfer 40,000 Hilton points out with that bonus just recently. And there's the confirmation that I got it. What does that come out to? 40 times 2.6. Excuse me. 40 times 2.6. 104,000 Hilton points is what she got out of that deal. So in my opinion, not bad. Some people bag on this a little bit because they'll say things like, oh, it's the equivalent of cashing out your Amex points at 1.3 cents per point. Well, you know what? I've got a lot of Amex points and it works for us. So don't be afraid to do that if that is something that would be helpful for your family. Thanks to each and every one of you that is on board here. So here's the screenshot of my last members only video. It's called Why the 3X Obsession. So if you think being able to see this video would interest you, you have to be a channel member. I have one membership level. It's called a DUGROZ Diehard, and it's only $3 a month. You can subscribe anytime. You can cancel anytime. And I do have about 32 members only videos. There should be at least one more dropping this week. So if you want to see that video and wonder, what am I talking about? A 3X obsession. What could that possibly be referencing? Are you intrigued? The only way to satisfy that curiosity is to become a DUGROZ Diehard. Hey, speaking of DUGROZ Diehards, John R. is here. It says, good morning, DUGROZ. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. If you got that little star by your name, that means you're a channel member. Like Chad, like Seabass, who just popped on board and said, good morning, all. I do appreciate the patronage from you fellas. And again, even if you're not a member, would you be willing to click the thumbs up button to help drive more people over here? Next DUGROZ data point. There's also a transfer bonus going on right now. And again, this one goes through the 29th, so not quite the end of the month. I'm not sure why they picked the second to last day of the month. This is from Capital One to Flying Blue, which is the rewards program combined of Air France and KLM. So between now and the 29th, you can convert 1,000 Capital One miles over to 1,200 Flying Blue miles. And in case you're wondering, that's a 20% transfer bonus. That's probably what we'll use next time we go to Europe. So I went ahead and took advantage of this in just kind of a topping off manner. Used my Capital One Venture X card, transferred 10,000 miles over to Flying Blue, which turned into 12,000 Flying Blue miles. And it says your Flying Blue miles are on their way. Flying Blue miles are mostly instantaneous, although I have observed if you do the transfer late at night, it may not pop in until the next morning. So just something to be aware of. Have any of you transferred to Flying Blue? Let me know what your experience has been with that. All right, we got a couple pictures here. I'm not even sure what this picture is of. It has skipped my mind. Oh, yes, I remember now. This is unrelated to points and miles, although I feel like it could make a good analogy someday. Shopping carts at the grocery store. Do they ever drive you nuts when people like don't know how to put their shopping carts away? This one's even not that bad, but what really bothers me is so the grocery store Hy-Vee, which is the one pretty close to my house, has little carts and big carts. When you've got like two big carts and then somebody puts a little cart on that side and completely screws it up, like who was the first guy to do this? So sometimes just because, I'm a good Samaritan, I will take it upon myself to straighten things up. And there was a mom who had one of these big kids carts. So I moved these out, pushed it in, pushed these back in, straightened up the other side. I feel like your ability to put shopping carts away correctly in some way, shape, or form reflects on who you are as a human being, at least to a small extent. Hey, we finally got 21 people on board. Good. Cleared the 20 mark. Filmo is here. Also, another DUGROZ diehard, just in time to scream at the shopping cart jerks. Absolutely. Did you see that first picture? Makes you want to shake your fist at the clouds or something. All right. Going to continue moving along here with my DUGROZ data points. This is not a data point. Just sometimes I like to highlight people who leave really good quality comments on my page. And this is from a viewer named Basindon. So last week I did overrated credit cards, and somebody criticized me for holding the Chase Sapphire Reserve while saying that cards like the Autograph Journey were overrated. First of all, I think there's a big misunderstanding about what overrated is. Overrated and bad aren't the same thing, but we don't need to rehash that journey. But here was a good comment, so I want to highlight it. Basindon said this: the CSR, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, is an overrated card on its own, but if you are cranking out ultimate rewards on business cards or you're a big spender, it's a solid card for easy value without learning how to transfer points. Side note, I don't think he means me specifically. I know how to transfer points, but regardless, let's keep going. But if you're mostly transferring UR, it is not necessary to have the CSR. DUGROZ, because he has a travel style that treats points as expendable, but cash as scarce, there's a clear case for it being extremely valuable. And I think this use case is more common than people deep in this want to believe. The break even on the $250 effective annual fee is somewhere between 50,000 and 82,000 ultimate rewards per year, depending on the relevant comparison point. So great comment, Basindon. I appreciate that. And I wanted to take it just a little bit further. So I went all nerdy and I did the math, and I decided to find out what the break-even point is when we think about effective annual fee. And yes, you do need to be careful about effective annual fee, but here's how we get there. So a couple weeks ago, I paid my CSR annual fee using points. And I know some of you are going to be like, but again, I have lots of points. Up until a couple weeks ago, I had 1 million transferable points. So Basindon's right. I have a style that treats points as expendable, cash as scarce. I don't want to spend cash out of my family budget. In fact, I have a rule not to spend cash out of my family budget. Either has to come from bank account sign-up bonuses, like the one I showed at the beginning of the video, or it has to come from cashback credit cards or cashback sign-up bonuses or targeted offer or Amex offers or Chase offers or something like that. So when you use points to cover the annual fee on your CSR, at least right now through the end of the year, you get 1.25 cents per point. So I didn't have to use 555,000 points to cover the $550 annual fee. I only had to use 440,000. Excuse me, 44,000. I don't know why I keep saying it wrong. Asthma break. So if we think of points as worth a penny each, and certainly they can be more, but if you're someone like me that's willing to cash out at a penny per point sometimes, you can think of penny points when it comes to covering that annual fee. So by using points, effectively the annual fee wasn't $550. You can think of it like $440 because at penny points, I only used $440 worth of points to cover the annual fee. So that's where this 440 comes in. I'll try to, I was going to say make it bigger, but I don't think I have the ability to. Subtract out $300 for the annual fee. That's an effective annual fee of $140. Now, Should you value that $300 at full value? Probably not, but for the sake of easy math, I'm going to. The CSP is $95 a year. So the functional difference between the two annual fees in my case, because I'm someone that's willing to cash out points, is only $45 a year. So then I did the math of, to cover that $45 a year, how many points would you have to use in the portal? And I tried a few different numbers. And if you want to double check my math, you can, but I know there's only like 3 people that actually want to double check it. So you can just take my word for it. To hit that $45 effective annual fee difference between the CSP and the CSR, using my method where I'm valuing the annual fee at $440, you only need to spend 18,000 points per year in the Chase portal, which is really not that much. One flight a year, basically. It'll get you $270 in value at the 1.5. I used that. I don't know if it was that exact amount, but if not, really, really close, just flying back from New Orleans. So I think in my case, since I need something for transfer partners anyway, going from the CSP up to the CSR makes a lot of sense. And yes, even if you think they're overrated, you have to have one if you want to use Chase's transfer partners. We could get into that if you want, but that's not the thrust of today's video. The main thing I want you to learn here is the $45 break-even point. I think it's worth an extra $45 to have the CSR over the CSP because of things like all their really good travel protections. I don't really need the priority pass that comes with it, but I will take the Sapphire Lounge access. All right, looks like I triggered maybe a bunch of different discussion points. John R. says this is related to shopping carts. It's because people either aren't paying attention or don't care. Cesar says both CSP and CSR are overrated. Allie is on board. Hey, Allie, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. I have the Aspire card and have never seen the gift card option. So yes, I learned about it from Anthony Venture, but others have said that if you go to buy Hilton gift cards, it will trigger your quarterly credit. Let's see. Cesar says, Allie, the Aspire does not have a credit that can be used for the gift cards. It's a resort credit. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. So ignore what I said and go with what Cesar says. He knows more about Hiltons than I do. Okay, that quarterly credit only applies to the Surpass. Thank you so much for correcting me, brother. I appreciate that. Ian says he's staying at Comfort Plus. No upgrade today, but 3.5 hours is nothing. Oh, no, not... I thought you meant like I'm staying in a Comfort Inn and I got a Comfort Plus. But no, you're talking about Delta Comfort Plus. My bad. Okay. Filmo says CSR is the shopping cart jerk of credit cards. Well, we've got some disagreement going on, but that's okay. We learn things with disagreements. As Ralph Wiggum says, I'm learning. Okay, let's keep pressing ahead here. What do you think about Capital One and their like sign up procedure? So a lot of people have had success changing old cards over to a Saver One, but I have not. So I go into that tool to see if you're allowed to do any product changes. And I've been doing this for 2 years now. They will not let me product change my old Venture One card, which used to be a Quicksilver card, which used to be a Capital One no-name card, over to the Saver One. So just out of curiosity, earlier this week, I decided to use the pre-approval tool on Capital One. I wasn't planning to get a card because I'm guarding my... I decided not to actually press ahead because I'm guarding my 524 status so that I can hop back on the ink train. But I just wanted to see like what they would say. And it said this: unfortunately, we can't pre-approve you for a Capital One credit card, for any Capital One card. And then it gave some reasons. Now, I don't know if these reasons are valid or if they're just pulling stuff out of their her, but here's what they said. The reasons why they couldn't pre-approve me is the proportion of credit limits on bank or national revolving accounts to other accounts is too high. Well, that kind of makes sense because I have at least 2 personal cards where I'm carrying a balance. They're both at 0% interest, so I'm actually earning money on that card by parking it over in a Charles Schwab account, but that's part of the reason. I think these are the real reasons. Too many increase in the last 12 months, too many accounts with balances, and time since most recent account opening is too short. I think that last one's probably the real big one. Basically, Capital One is saying, we don't want to give you a credit card because, you already have credit cards and you're not grossly in debt, which means you probably know how to use them correctly. So how are we supposed to make money off you, DUGROZ? I think that's what Capital One is saying. All right, we've got 25 people on board and only 14 people have clicked the like button. So there's an opportunity for 11 people to smash that button so that more people will want to come here, which is definitely something we want to do as we get into the main event. Now, I got to remember how to add a poll here. There it is, because we're about to start the main event. So the theme today is would you rather? And basically what I'm getting at with this is I'm sure y'all played that game like would you rather, I don't know, drink a jar of pickle juice or stub your toe really hard? Like two things that are hard to decide on. They might be two good things and you have to pick between the better, or two bad things and you have to pick between the less bad. Excuse me, I have to snort. So we're all going to play the game together. As we go, I'm going to create polls, and you can vote on which one of these things you would rather do. There we go. Now we're up to 30 people on board. Click the like button to get even more to come in. And you can tell me which one of these things you would rather do. Frugal Dad Finance has arrived. This is sort of like your ITBS test, though. Do not mark your answer until the proctor has fully explained the options. Thank you very much. All right, let's go ahead and begin here. These are all in the world of points, miles, cash back, etc. So the first question is this. Would you rather fly 4 hours in economy or fly 7 hours in business class? Well, what inspired this question? Well, I have seen a few things in the last year or so, which makes me think the Concorde is coming back. Maybe not the Concorde itself, but some sort of supersonic jet. So let's just pretend, for the sake of argument, that, does it not let me copy and paste? See, YouTube's features here. Oh, yeah, there it does. Okay. Let's say that the Concorde comes back, or some sort of supersonic plane. And you can fly from Chicago to Europe, maybe Amsterdam, maybe Frankfurt, maybe Paris, whatever, wherever you're going, in 4 hours if you take the Concorde, but it's all economy seating. Or you can take a traditional business class on Air Canada or Lufthansa or KLM or whatever, 7 hours in business class. Now, for the sake of discussion, let's say the points are exactly the same. The taxes and fees are exactly the same. Let's say even the ground service is exactly the same. So there's, you get into the business class lounge on both ends. We're just talking the type of seat you're in. You got your lie flat business class seat, or you got your economy type seat. The copy and paste isn't working well, so I have to type it manually. And I tried to make all of these kind of a hard decision. All right, now that you have your explanation, I will let you vote. So I think it's live. Is it not live? Tell me if you can see the poll or not. Should be up at the top. Hey, in the meantime, Tom Graber dropped a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate that. Celebrate, celebrate. Any super chats will go towards the technology fund, new microphone, new webcam, new cell phone. Thank you. Oh, I've not actually started the poll. There we go. Okay. Launching now. There you go. Okay, it should be up at the top. Go ahead and cast your vote. Which one you would rather have. Expanding. We've got 9 votes. We've got 10 votes. Oh, 50-50. Couple comments here. Ian Maskall says 7 hours in business, my vote. I'm doing 18 and a half in January. Oh, 18 and a half hours. Where are you? You must be flying from like London to Sydney, Australia or something like that. Let us know what you're doing. Seabass says 4 hours in economy. I value my time. Cesar Joel says no. Seabass says 4 hours in economy for the experience. I'm sorry. Makes sense. But let's say you've done it lots of times. Would you keep doing it? Oh, hey, John R. just dropped $2 in the super chat for the tech fund. Celebrate. Celebrate. Cesar Joel says 4 hours in economy. I value my time. Ian says I do it once for the experience. Manuel Jimenez, a DUGROZ diehard, is leaning towards the 4 hours. Sam K from the UK has arrived, says, sorry I'm late. YouTube's notifications are as useful as a tissue paper boat. Filmo says, us fluffy guys like business class. For those of you who just arrived, first of all, please click the thumbs up button. That brings more people on board. We're playing Would You Rather in the worlds of points and miles. So find a poll at the top of the chat for Would You Rather. Do 4 hours in economy or 7 hours in business? Yankee Man says, middle seat in economy, 7 hours in business all the way. John R. says, I would only fly economy if I hated myself. I've read that there was actually like a Russian equivalent of the Concorde back in the 80s, and it was like a terrible flying experience. It was so loud, like you couldn't hear, you had to yell. They couldn't control the cabin. It broke down all the time. It was super cold, those kind of things. I've also heard the Concorde itself wasn't like super nice. If anyone here actually flew the Concorde before it was grounded, random, let us know. I would love to hear your story. Random interesting thing is, the Concorde had that one really bad crash in France that made people, not want to fly it. And then it was grounded for several years, started to make a comeback. You know what the date of its comeback was supposed to be? September 11th, 2001. Talk about worst timing ever. Mertz Collectibles says, depends on the seat. Middle or window, no. Aisle, yes. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll here with 26 votes. And the winner was 7 hours in economy with 7 hours in business class at 62%, beat 4 hours in economy at 38%. So interesting. Engineer has arrived, fellow Iowan. For me, it depends. 4 versus 7, I'd take business. If the numbers doubled, 8 versus 14, I would take economy. All right. Thank you, everyone. Let's go ahead and go to the next Would You Rather question. If you've arrived recently, click thumbs up because we've got 17 people who have not done that yet. Sam K, I knew you were going to say this. Russian planes randomly fall out of the sky without warning. Ian Maskall says, I'm in a middle seat. Not bad at all. Says player 2 has the window and I can lean that way. All right. Next, Would You Rather? And my intent was for these to get progressively more difficult. Would you rather earn 6% cash back or 4x of your favorite points? Now, I'm talking any given transaction. So let's say that you have a category that works at gas or grocery or dining, and this restaurant or business or whatever it is accepts both cards. So you don't have to worry about one not being accepted or anything like that. It's just you're either going to earn 6% cash back or you're going to earn 4x on your favorite points. So let me get this typed in. Does that make sense? Everybody have an understanding there. All right. Which is more valuable to you? Launching the poll now. So interestingly, and I didn't mean this to skew kind of what we did, but if you think of a couple of Amex cards, you've got the Amex Gold card, which gets 4x points on groceries. And then you have the Amex Blue Business Plus, which earns 6% cash back on groceries. Now, the hard part is after the first year, the Blue Business Plus has an annual fee, which effectively knocks that 6.6 down to, I think, about 4.4 because it's capped. But just for the sake of our discussion, let's say this is uncapped. You can earn 6% cash back or 4x of your favorite points on groceries, dining, streaming, hardware stores, hotel, whatever category you're thinking of. Just on one individual transaction, which would you go for? Now, if you're wondering about my personal stance, it depends on where I am. Right now, I have a severe scarcity of cash because when my family went to Washington, D.C. this past summer, we used up about all of our cash reserves. So we're really low on cash right now. So I would take the 6% cash back. There's other times, like when I'm saving up for something, I would much rather have the 4x points. All you have to do is value them at 1.5 cents per point, and now we're break even. If you value those points at anything more than 1.5, then the points would win. But if you need the cash, you need the cash. The other thing that I was thinking about on this question was, what was the other thing I was thinking about? Oh, so right now, for me, my rule is cashback has to beat points by at least 1%. So, like, for example, I can't necessarily think of a good example. I can get 5% back on utilities with my US Bank Cash Plus card, which is pretty good. If I had a card that earned 3x on utilities, and I think there is one, I can't think which one it is right now, though. Then I would still choose cash, but if it was 4x, it would be break even. All right, let me catch up with some comments here. Yankee Man 311, good to see you, Yankee Man. Don't think we've met before. Says, I think the time doubling would make me lean even more towards business class. Yeah, some people consider it to be part of the journey. John R says, if I didn't have long legs, non-bougie travel could be pulled off, but I have worked hard to get to where I am, so bougie it is. Ian Mascal says, I would take the 4x points since my favorite points can't be bought for less than 1.5 to 2 cents each. Mertz Collectibles. Hey, don't know if we've met, Mertz. Can't remember. Good to have you on board. Says, finally was given the good no annual fee $150 BCP upgrade offer, so I'll be asking myself this question soon. I got the exact same offer. So right now I'm still operating under no annual fee. So it is a true 6% cash back up to $6,000. RemGB, notice this is basically the gold versus the BCP. Manuel Jimenez says he would take the 6% cash back. Yankee Man says, I'll take the 6% cash back because my natural spend is pretty low. That makes sense. Mertz Collectibles says, thanks. Been waiting for it to show up. Yuri G has arrived, says a bit late to the show. Says 6% cash back usually comes with an annual fee. For the sake of this question, I said, let's assume we aren't taking annual fees into consideration, but you're definitely right. Ian Mascal lets us know he'll be early for the next live stream at 1 p.m. Stan the Credit Frog is up. Ian, is that Eastern time or is that Central time? Let us know. Chad says Wyndham Earner Business offers 5x on utilities. There you go. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Although 5% cash back, 5x Wyndham points. I value Wyndham points at 1.25, so depends on the season. I'm actually contemplating a Vacasa stay this fall, so I'll have to think that one over. Again, if you have not yet done so, please click the like button and make a comment. That brings more people on board. Ian says Stan is up at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. All right, I'm going to be ending the poll here in 5, 4, 3. End the poll. And I believe it shows us the results here. So would you rather earn 4x points or 6% cash back? The winner is 4x points with 70%. 6% cash back was only 29%, leaving a margin of error of 1%. That's my Kent Brockman voice. Anybody remember there's an episode of The Simpsons where I think Krusty the Clown runs for mayor against Mayor Quimby or something like that. And it's like, our latest survey is in with Mayor Quimby getting 4% of the vote and Krusty the Clown getting 1% of, or 100% of the vote. We would like to remind everyone that the poll does have a 4% margin of error. It's funny because it adds up to 104%. Yuri reminds us all he wants to get the Attune since it's 4x points with no annual fee. Interesting point. All right. Next. Again, these are supposed to get progressively more difficult. Number 3, you win a contest of some kind. I don't know what it is. Jelly beans in a jar or something. And you get to win a prize. And for your prize, you can choose. Would you rather win 500,000 Capital One miles, 500,000 Capital One miles, or would you rather win 400,000 Amex points? I know there are some people out there in our community who are big time Amex fanboys, and I want to test you to see how big of an Amex fanboy you are. If you're willing to give up 100,000 points in order to honor your Amex fanboyness. So bear with me here. I just have to type it in real quick. Would you rather win 500,000 Capital One miles or 400,000 Amex points? And the poll is going live now. Okay, go ahead and start your voting, start your commenting. Tell me in the comments why you feel the way you do. Vincent Pascal has arrived. Hi, Vincent. Says, I'm not a fan of getting cash back only as a statement credit. I'm not either, but I will do it. The Amex cashback cards, that's the only option they give you. So basically, if I earn $50 on my BCP, I'll just take the $50 statement credit and then move $50 from my family budget over to my travel savings account, because that's $50 that I would not have otherwise had as a statement credit, and then just keep spending on things I would normally spend on. Another one is US Bank is supposed to let you cash out to any US Bank account, but when I've done it in the past, I had the triple cash rewards. Now I have the State Farm business card. I don't know if it's because I'm going from a business account to a personal check account, but it just will not let me. So unfortunately, my only option is statement credits. Yuri G says, I have a lot of Amex points, but not a lot of Capital One miles. Ian Mascal says, dang, that's a good question. Will the Hawaii-Alaska loophole be open when these points are received? Let's just say you have to decide by the end of the day tomorrow. So you don't know. Is that part of the equation? You just have to take the risk. John R. says, I have no Capital One cards and never will. Amex for the win. I just thought you might be one of those fanboys, John, that was so dedicated you would give up 100,000 points. Tom Graber says, I'll take the Capital One miles because it's so easy to earn 400,000 MR points. I think I lean that way. Filmo says, I love Amex points, but they're easy to earn with all the no lifetime language offers. So give me the Capital One miles. All right. Seabass says Capital One because I use Amex and Capital One points only for flights. Yankee Man 311 says, more likely to have Cap One cards in my wallet going forward. Venture X and better use overseas makes those points more valuable to me. Interesting. What do you consider your overseas use case, Yankee Man? All right, let's see how the poll is going so far. Looks like 33% are dedicated Amex fanboys or fangirls, and 70-ish% are saying, regardless of what you think Capital One, an extra 100,000 miles is difficult to pass up. Bianca has arrived. Bianca, how you doing? A DUGROZ Diehard. Thank you for your patronage. It says Capital One. I can use those points for Aeroplan. By the way, if you have not already, I know I've mentioned this before, a little late to the party. First of all, you can drop a super chat if you want to help me with my technology fund to get a better microphone, better streaming setup, better phone, so I have higher quality pictures. Drop $1 or $2. No amount's too small. I appreciate all of it. It goes towards that fund. And then if you want to be like Bianca or Vincent or Seabass and have a little star by your name, you can watch lots of great members-only videos. that will give you lots of insight into my brain, stuff that is too controversial. For example, information about normal people, that's awfully controversial, and what they think about me, that is only on the members only side. And if you become a member during this live stream, you get a little celebration green thing over on the side. Let's see. Yankee Man, when I asked him what's the use case for Venture X abroad, says no foreign transaction fee and Amex isn't widely accepted. Yuri says depends on the country as it relates to Amex, probably. Vincent Pascal says Amex and Capital One's airline transfer partners overlap significantly. Amex, but not Capital One, has ANA, Hawaiian, Delta, and JetBlue. Thanks for the information. Am I remembering correctly that Amex does not transfer 1-to-1 to JetBlue? Is it like 5-to-4? Yuri thinks the Hawaiian transfer partnership is going away soon. And John says, oh, and I fly Delta almost exclusively, so Amex makes sense. So 400,000 Amex. I'm going to challenge your thinking slightly here, John. Amex, 400,000. Capital One, 500,000. That's basically a 1.25 ratio. So you're saying Amex, if you choose the Amex option, you're saying Amex points are at least 25% more valuable than Capital One miles. But with Capital One, you could use the travel eraser. So you could still buy a Delta flight with your Capital One Venture X and then just erase it at a penny per point. And since you're getting 25% more points, essentially what you're saying is you're averaging at least 1.25 cents per point on your Delta flights, taking into account that, like, transfer thingy where they charge you 6% taxes or whatever. So it's really probably more like 1.3-ish. Are you averaging 1.3 cents per point on your Delta flights? Maybe you are, but I don't know. Let's see. Ian Mascal agrees with Yuri. Transferred all of my Amex points last night. Yuri doesn't want to transfer Amex to Delta. Yankee Man says, I think you're right. It's not impossible to find. It's just that with Visa or MasterCard, you don't have to think about it. Oh, we're talking about whether or not Amex is accepted overseas. John R. says, I won't transfer points to Delta either, but I will transfer to Sky Club partners. Oh, okay. Filmo says it is getting mathy in here. So I don't know enough about transferring to, let's say, Virgin or Flying Blue to book Delta flights, but I would speculate you can probably average at least 1.3 cents per point. All right. Filmo, in the words of Richard Nixon, in the words of Gerald Ford, I was told there would be no math. Let's see. Thank you for clicking, even though you're British and don't have American credit cards, Sam. I appreciate the support. I'm going to end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So the results of the poll were 70% would take the 500,000 Capital One miles, whereas 400,000 Amex points was preferred by 29%. John says, I'm using Flying Blue points for my Delta One flight in October and got 4.6 cents per point. Whoa, that blows that 1.3 threshold out of the water then. Vincent Pascal says, ANA isn't the easiest to use, and then Amex excise tax on domestic travel partners dilutes the value of MR points transfer there. Yeah, a little. Not a lot, but a little. All right, let's keep going with our Would You Reps here. Next up, number 4, and there's 5 total, so this is the second to last one. For the next 10 years, you can only use one of these ecosystem combos. So we have Group A, Chase and Wells Fargo. Group B, Amex, Citi, and Capital One. So what the question is saying here, for the next 10 years, you have to commit yourself to one of these pairings. So if you choose Group A, you are only using Chase and Wells Fargo, and you cannot use Amex, Citi, or Capital One. You can still have, and let's say it's based on card issuer. So like if you want to use the United card, you have to go through Chase. If you choose Group B, what you're saying is for the next 10 years, you can only use Amex, Citi, and Capital One, and you cannot use any Chase or Wells Fargo cards. Does that make sense to everyone? So you're going to have to commit yourself to one of these groupings here, either Group A or Group B for the next 10 years. No cheating, no fudging. You can't say, well, if I choose Group B, I can use a little bit of Chase. I can use an IHG card a little bit. Nope, the IHG card is issued by Chase. So let's assume that any exclusive hotel or airline partners based on the card they issue remain the same. So like Amex transfers to Aeroplan, at least I'm pretty sure they do. I know Capital One does. Capital One transfers to Aeroplan. So if you choose Group B, you could still transfer to Aeroplan and use the Aeroplan program, but you could not use the Aeroplan card. Now, for some people, this is probably going to be exceptionally easy. For other people, it will be more difficult. So give me some time to type in the poll here and I'll get this going. Sorry that the poll is so like takes all this manual typing and stuff. All right. So look carefully. I'm not going to type all the different issuers in the poll. I'm only going to put Group A, Group B. So look at the screen. So you want the one you want to use, the one that you can use for the next 10 years. Okay, and the poll is live. Chad says if you go on the points guy or frequent miler, Capital One are the better option. I'm assuming you're going all the way back to the if you won 500,000 Capital One miles. Yuri says, I hated to pay $99 for a Hawaiian Airlines transfer, and then they don't even give any points when paying this fee. I'm assuming you're talking about that excise tax they charge for American transfer partners. John says, I don't use Chase cards anyway, so ... smiley face, grinning face. Vincent Pascal says, if you went with Group A, you can still get an AA card from Barclays. Yeah, you can still get any in either of these options. You can still get Barclay cards. I was just thinking the 5 biggest transferable currencies. I didn't put Bilt in here because none of us know what's going to happen with Bilt over the next 10 years. The other thing I was going to say is I actually saw on Frequent Miler this week, there was an article that says there are rumors that American Airlines is in negotiations with Citi to become an exclusive partner, meaning if that negotiation goes through, they would boot all the Barclays cards. So the question was, do you jump on a Barclays American Airlines card now while you still can, just for the sake of a points grab? And of course, this is rampant speculation. We don't know if it's going to go through. We don't know if they would buy out the Barclays portfolio. We don't know what would happen. Seabass says Group B, guess I'll be a Hilton fanboy for 10 years. All right. Yuri G says Amex Chase Capital One transfer to Aeroplan. Thank you for making that clear. Manuel Jimenez says Group A. Filmo says I chose Group A because in 10 years I would save around $35,000 in Amex annual fees. Oh, bring in the heat, Filmo. You're going to make some people mad with that one. Yuri says that's a tough choice. It would be hard to live without Hyatt, United, and Southwest. It's supposed to be a tough choice. RemGB says pop-up jail and lifetime language versus 524. I'll take the ink train all the day, anytime. They don't even have a 2-year timer. Sam asked about credit cards make medical bills easier to afford for Americans. Well, I don't want to get into that right now, Sam. Thank you for your contribution. I'm just going to stay out of politics for the time being. Bianca says Group B is already my primary setup. Makes sense. Yuri says I'd choose Group A. Vincent Pascal says I'm not a fan of having to pay something just to be able to transfer points to partners. Amex, Capital One, and Wells Fargo let you transfer without having an annual fee card. Interesting. But with Amex, you have to get like the everyday card or Blue Business Plus, which don't really have a lot of juice to them. Yankee Man 311 says toughest one yet. I went with B mainly because I like the more cards there. Ian Mascal says someone break the tie and vote. Chad says I was assuming Bilt fell under Wells Fargo. The Bilt card would fall under Wells Fargo. So if you choose Group B, You cannot have a built card. You can still use the built program without having the card, though. Vincent says you can run an Amex Capital One setup without paying an annual fee, such as the Blue Business Plus, Saver One, and Venture One. Yeah, but if all you have is the Blue Business Plus, you're not going to be getting those juicy big sign-up bonuses. I think the real advantage to Amex is not the best everyday spend. The real advantage to Amex is the fact that you can get these no lifetime language offers over and over and over again. You can get targeted for things like 250,000 points on a business platinum like my wife did. So if you were to ask me what my opinion is here, it's hard, and I made it hard on purpose. But I would go with Group A because someone else said I'll play the Ink Train anytime. That was RemGB. So I think I'm with RemGB. I think I have figured out enough techniques to milk Chase for all it's worth. 5x on office supply stores with the CIC, 5x on the rotating categories on the Flex and the OG Freedom. I like to cash out points now and then with both Chase and Wells Fargo. You can cash out points for a penny each without any extra steps. In Group B, only Citi lets you cash out for a penny each with no extra steps or cards being owned. I think I can get my annual fees down more with Group A, and it just fits my travel style better, doing a lot of road trips, a lot of short rip trips, those sorts of things. The Wells Fargo portal comes in play a lot for me. I said Wells Fargo portal. I meant Chase portal, although I do have the old Golden Ponies card with Wells Fargo, which lets me use a 1.5 cents per point portal for flights only with Wells Fargo. So in my case, I would choose Group A, but I'm not going to disparage anyone that chooses Group B. Like I said, I made it difficult on purpose. Yuri said, I would say that I will go for Chase, Citi, and Wells Fargo ecosystems any day over Amex and Capital One. Yep, but I didn't make those the combos because I wanted to make it hard. Vincent says, get the bonuses on Platinum, Gold, etc. And when you close them, keep the BBP as your daily earner. Roger that. I won't use it as my daily earner, but I will keep it just to keep the points alive. Chad says, I would rather have a Chase and Citi pairing so both groceries and gas would be covered, but maybe that would have been too easy. Exactly. I specifically moved Citi over here to this group on purpose. You can't use that logic. I wanted to make it hard. So looking at the poll, oh my word, we've got 28 votes, and it is split exactly 50-50 right now. Because I'm the poll creator, it doesn't let me vote. If I could be the vice president of the United States and slam my gavel and break the tie, as I mentioned, I would vote for Group A. If anyone hasn't voted yet or wants to change your mind, I'll give you 5 seconds to break the tie. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ending the poll now, and the official results are 50-50. All right, that means I did a good job if I made it super hard to describe. That's actually awesome, guys. Thanks for participating. Click the thumbs up button, please, if you haven't done so yet. That'll make more people watch my video after the live is done, which will help me out. Vincent Pascal says Group B has grocery modifiers. Interesting point. Yeah. If you're like me and most of your grocery shopping's at Walmart, that doesn't matter. But if you're like John and you shop at Walmart Neighborhood Market and it does code as grocery, at least with Amex, that could be the difference maker right there. Although I think those of you who are diehards at least know how I feel about overemphasizing spending category bonuses. All right, you ready for number 1? The hardest question of them all. And I really hope Cesar Joel is on board for this one. Here we go. Number 5, you must eliminate using one of these hotel program groups for the rest of your life. So in this poll, you're choosing the one you want to eliminate, and you have to choose one. So you're not choosing the one you like, you're choosing which one you're going to eliminate. In other words, if you choose Group A, you're saying, I will never stay at a Hyatt or Wyndham again, ever, for the rest of my life. No point stays, no cash stays, no FNC certificates, nothing. No free night certificates, no backdoor weird things. If you choose Group A, you are never staying at a Hyatt or Wyndham again. And just to make things even more juicy, if you choose Wyndham, that means you cannot do any point stays at Vacasa or cottages.com. You could still pay cash for a Vacasa, but you couldn't use the point trick, obviously. If you're not using the program, you don't have access to Wyndham points. If you choose Group B, what you're saying is, I'm never going to stay at a Hilton or IHG or Choice for the rest of my life. So now, just to clarify, you can still stay at other hotels. Doesn't mean you have to be exclusive to the others. So like if you choose Group B, you can still stay at a Best Western. If you choose Group A, you can still stay at a Best Western. Everybody got it? I didn't put Marriott on here in here because I'm just not that familiar with Marriott, to be honest with you. So give me a second. I'll need to do the typey type here. And let's see what people say. A lot of people are indicating this isn't going to be that close. People are willing to ditch Hyatt. I thought there was a lot more Hyatt fanboys out there than apparently what there are, but we'll see. Maybe there's a lot of silent majority type people. Sorry, my typing's taking a few seconds here. This one I'm going to copy and paste to make 100% sure I get it right. So again, follow what the ITBS proctor is saying. You're picking which one to eliminate for the rest of your life. Launching the poll now. Hey, Stan the Credit Frog is on board. Good to see you, Stan. All right, let's see. Yuri says, I recently went to WMNM and used, I don't know what that means. Oh, Walmart Neighborhood Market. Used Amex with a grocery category. It only gave me 3x on the Hilton card. Oh, that's weird. Maybe it varies store to store. Cesar is here. I know which one he's going to choose. It's easy for him. Yuri says another tough one. Chad thinks it's an easy one. Sam says Hotel Trump would be given up immediately. Nope. Actually, based on my question, you can still stay at a Trump International. That's no problem. Vincent Passell says Group B gives you more choices, pun intended, as in number of properties. Ian says whichever one has Marriott, I'd take. You can still use Marriott no matter which one you choose, so that's not a thing. Cesar says that's easy. Hyatt and Wyndham will go. Vincent says not on the list are Marriott and Airbnb. Yep, absolutely, that's true. Stan says Hyatt and Wyndham are out for sure. Group Cesar says Group B will provide better value and experiences. Yuri says Wyndham is the largest chain in the world. That's true. I'm guessing the reason why most people aren't feeling the need to be loyal to Wyndham is because, real or perceived, they don't have as many luxury properties. They have a lot of like Days Inn and Super 8s. Sam Case, do you stay in motels? DUGROZ reports. It depends on what you mean by that. My understanding of the difference between a hotel and a motel is that hotels have the interior hallway and hotels go directly outside. I have not stayed in a motel, if we use that definition, in probably 10 years. So no, I don't really. I only stay at hotels. But if that's not what you meant, let me know. A bunch of people saying good morning to each other. Cesar says, I agree, Stan. Hyatt and Wyndham will go for me. Yankee Man 311 says, easily A. Hate the bottom tier Wyndham brands. Hyatt doesn't have enough locations for me, and Hilton has the best rewards program. Choice I like is the better budget option too, rather than Wyndham. John says it's very odd because he always gets 4x on his Amex Gold at Walmart Neighborhood Market. Yeah, I know. That is odd. Chad says the limitation of Hyatt's footprint does not really matter given one could still stay at Marriott's. Well, but then you wouldn't be getting that easy mode good value. I've found with Hyatt's, even if I'm not anything status-wise, especially if they're low-end properties like Hyatt House or Hyatt Place, you can get great value. For example, I'm taking my son to a chess tournament in October, and we're staying at a Hyatt House in Moline, Illinois. 5,000 points for Category 1 Hyatt House per night when the cash rate is like over $150. So that's 3 cents per point there. Super easy. Philmo says, I really don't have any hotel loyalty, so I'll just get rid of Hyatt to piss people off. That's a good way of doing it. Manuel Jimenez says, I'll take Group B. I've never stayed at a Wyndham, and seldom at Hyatt. I do stay at Marriott, Hilton, and IHG. Yuri says, I voted Group A, but it was a hard choice. Hyatt lost a lot of value recently. Sam K does say he means walk away outside. Okay, then no, I haven't stayed at an actual motel in a long time. Ian Mascales is amazed at the free Delta Wi-Fi. This stream has been clean with no lag or chop. Good. Let's see. John R says, I voted A. I've never been to a Hyatt. Never had a reason to. I like Hilton and Choice. Okay, well, that makes sense. So I got to shut this down soon because I'm going to run out of time about 7 minutes here. So closing the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and here's the official results. Looks like although you hear about the easiness and the amazing value of Hyatt, a lot of people are willing to let it go. So Group A had the win. In other words, the most people wanting to eliminate it. 72% were willing to eliminate Hyatt and Wyndham for the rest of their life. And 28% were willing to eliminate Hilton, IHG, and Choice hotels for the rest of your life. Counter Everything is here. Don't think we've met Counter Everything. Good to see you on the board. Hyatt and Wyndham give the most easily generated value, so I'll take the Hyatt and Wyndham. I love motel setups out the door and vaping. Giving up Choice hurts, though. Okay, so I'm assuming you chose Group B. You're going to eliminate Hilton, IHG, and Choice. Let's see. Julie Lyles is here. Don't think we've met Julie. Good to see you on board. Hyatt has an annual fee paywall either way, so that's automatic no for me. Well, if you're like me, I don't have a Hyatt card of any kind, but I use Hyatt points for low-end stuff. Yankee Man 311 said if you'd added Marriott to the A group, it would have made it a tougher choice. Maybe I should have, but I did this at like 11:30 last night, so thanks for bearing with me. All right, that's it. That's the end of the main event. So we're done with Would You Rather. And at this point, the only thing left to do is to review all of the community tab questions. I don't think there's that many, but there is a little bit. I'm getting there, I promise. It'll be just a second. All right, so every Friday I put up a community tab question, and you can ask me anything. So we're going to do that right now. I always have a picture with it, or at least almost always have a picture with it, and you can guess where the picture was taken. Here's the picture in question. It's me standing by some sort of monument or thingamajig or something like that. So let's go through this. The first question is from Catch631. As someone who is also from Central Iowa, where the home airport is not a hub, how do you determine what airline to fly? Do you stick with one or two? Does it change based on price and destination? Good question. Thank you, Catch631. It changes based on price and destination. So I'm a 100% free agent when it comes to airlines. I do not have a preferred airline. I'm happy to use the portal, and I feel like being in a non-hub regional airport, that just works best for me. So if I'm going somewhere where I have a layover through Atlanta, I'll take Delta. If I'm having a layover through Denver, I'll take United. If I'm having a layover in Dallas, I'll take American. Just whatever I need to. You know, sometimes there's direct flights, like there's a direct flight from Des Moines to Washington Reagan National, and that was pretty good. So I probably end up using American more than anyone else just because that seems to work out. Not because I'm loyal to them, just the way it happens to work out, frankly. I would be willing to even fly Allegiant if they had a direct flight to where I'm going. And the price was pretty much unbeatable because I really don't like Allegiant very much. Take it back. No, I'm not willing to fly Allegiant unless it's super amazing. If it was like I was flying to some weird town in New Mexico and Allegiant flew directly and everybody else had a double layover, then I would, but it would take a lot. Catch631 also says, Cyclone Nation! Exclamation point. Thank you. Cesar Joel asked this. What's the biggest issue you have encountered trying to simplify your setup? Keep up the great work, Hermano. I did a video that was something like Watch the Signs, where I compared road construction, road signs to why it's hard to simplify. And I think the conclusion I came to that is the hardest thing is just closing cards. There's always a reason like, well, what if I need this card for credit history? I'm not going to use it in my setup now, but what if I need it 5 years from now? It's hard to come up with reasons to close a card. So you have to be really brutal, which I want to be. I'm going to do a better job of that next year. I've got a bunch of cards where I'm stuck with till the end of the year, but mark my words and hold me accountable if I'm wrong. A bunch of cards are getting canceled in 2025. Thank you, Cesar. Ryan 313010. Excuse me, Ryan 31310. I think that's the same Ryan Sieber that's on board here. I believe. I lost the question. I'm sorry. He's commenting on where he thinks the picture was taken. Based on the type of grass, fencing, and telephone pole, I would say you didn't stray too far from the Midwest. Maybe this is in Kansas, somewhere near Route 36. Maybe Kansas State University. Go Cyclones. Thank you. Appreciate that, Ryan. Unfortunately, you're wrong, and not just a little wrong. You're like really wrong. Although I can totally see why you're saying it. It does look like a lush field near the end of a ditch. You got a warehouse back here. But I'll give you a clue. What you're seeing in the background here is a crane and part of a ship, like an ocean-going ship. So this is a crane that can load things onto a boat. Does that help anyone make a guess? Put it over in the comment section if you want to. If not, I will come back to it. Anthony Bove says, what's the Cyclone game? And I explained Iowa State Cyclone college football. And he said, oh, I thought you meant the Brooklyn Cyclones in Coney Island. Is that the name of a roller coaster? I think it is, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Cyclone is one of the oldest wooden roller coasters. Jacob Hess asked this question. With the Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines merger in the news, do you have any interest in either program given your location? I really don't, for a couple reasons. One is I want to protect my 527 status or 524 status. And yeah, I don't really, there are no flights with American there's no flights with Alaska out of Des Moines. The closest would be Omaha, but I don't really want to drive to Omaha, and their only flight is to Seattle. So it would only be for partners. And then if I'm remembering correctly, the Alaska Airline card is issued by the Alaska Airlines card is issued by Bank of America, which I don't have any desire to get into Bank of America. I'm trying to simplify, as Cesar mentioned. I don't want to get into a whole new ecosystem I don't already have, or a whole new issue I don't already have. I was laughing because Counter Everything put in quotes some weird town in New Mexico. I'm not sure why I said that in reference to Allegiant, but you made me laugh. Thank you. Yuri G says Louisiana. Yes. Do you want to get more specific? Manuel Jimenez says you're in front of Huey Long's urn. Good guess, but no, although you have the right state. I'll tell you that. Catching up on comments here. Julie Lyle says, I don't have Chase either. Oh, well, join the party. It's not so bad. Counter Everything says, Hilton and IHG don't seem that great unless you're willing to pay for some cash nights. I never would at those places. What about buying points at a half penny each and then spending them at over a penny each? Yuri G says, I like Hilton card. They're much better than Hyatt cards. I would agree with that. Counter Everything says, Los Pollos Hermanos Distribution Center. I don't know what that means. Pollos, I thought meant chicken. Hermanos means like brothers? So the Chicken Brothers Distribution Center? Are you making that up, or is that a serious comment based on something you saw in the background? Yuri says, I have cards from all those chains and Marriott, and I rank Hyatt the lowest. Sam reminds everyone to hit the thumbs up button. Thank you. Yuri says, but you do have American Airlines in Des Moines. That is true. We do have American Airlines, and you can use Alaska to book American. So if somebody wants to talk me into, opening up a whole new issuer and blowing my 524 status to get Alaska miles, give it a try. Sam K says, I just need a black suit and a hat to be a Blues Brothers. It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses. Manuel Jimenez says, you're at the port in New Orleans. There's more than one. Which one? Chad Pennycuff says, howdy, y'all. Yuri says, City has never declined me. I have 16 cards. Good on you, Yuri. I got denied for the double cash last year. Cesar Joel says, it is difficult to simplify once you're deep into the game. Hermanos means brothers. That's what I thought. So it's the Chicken Brothers, right? Ian says, Los Pollos is from a TV show, Breaking Bad. Oh, sorry. I didn't get the reference. Yuri says you can get business cards from both Alaska and Hawaiian. Interesting. Okay, tucking that away. Thank you, Yuri. All right, since nobody's guessed it, nobody did the live stream, I will give it away. This is at the Chalmette National Battlefield and Monument. That is, where is Chalmette? Chalmette, Louisiana is sort of like a suburb of New Orleans, although I'm not even sure if suburb is the right word. Maybe it's more like a neighborhood, sort of like, the Bronx is a neighborhood of New York. Nobody would call it a suburb. And I am standing in front of something called the Spots Monument. Be honest with you, I don't even know what his significance is, but here it is on Google Maps right there, Spots Monument. So someone with the name Spots who died in some war a long time ago. And what you're seeing in the background is the Turn Services Associated Terminal apparently, the crane and the ocean going ship, although it's the Mississippi River, so you'd go down the river, out to the ocean. This was the last battle of the War of 1812, and in that battle, I don't know, some guy who fought in the battle, Samuel Spots shot the first gun at the Battle of New Orleans, and then he later died. And I don't think he's buried there. I think it's just a memorial. So some guy who fought in the last battle of the War of 1812, Andrew Jackson, who would later become the president, was the commanding general of the army. And we won. We kicked the English's hind ends in this battle. Interestingly, though, the battle was essentially completely pointless because the British and the Americans had already signed a ceasefire in Europe before this battle took place. But back in the early 1800s, it took a couple weeks from word to get from the continent over to our continent. So they fought the battle anyway. Sorry, Sam, not trying to pick on you. Obviously, the Brits got the best of us in other battles during the War of 1812. Some people will say like it created a sense of pride and nationalism and gave us a better position for negotiations. So maybe in that sense. But yes, that was the battlefield at the War of 1812 when I was down there in New Orleans for the Creator Meetup. On the last day, the same day I flew out, I went and checked out the battlefield because I like historical things. Welcome aboard, Chad Pennycuff. Glad to see you. Better late than never. Let's see. Ian says I was denied for the Alaska business card last week. Oh, too bad. Yuri got 2 Hawaiian Airline business cards last month. Interesting. All right. Well, I am going to have to end it there because I am over time. I apologize. Last chance to put a super chat over here if you want to. Thank you for everyone who watched. Thank you for everyone who supports my channel. I really appreciate it. Click the like button if you haven't done so yet. That'll drive people here to watch it after the fact. I really appreciate all of you. And as always, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Thanks for watching.